Welcome, everyone. This week, we're going to wrestle with that eternal question of what is family? You know, there are many different definitions of what a family is, and there's probably even more definitions of what it is to be a parent. So we want to go through our experience as fathers, coming up together as young fathers, and really get into what shaped us, the relationship we had with not only our baby mamas and wives and girlfriends, but also with them damn kids. So buckle up and welcome to the Hey Unc podcast. Gentlemen, welcome. All right, this week we have a special guest host and guest uncle, the man, the myth, the legend, that is Mike McGee.
What up, though?
Big Mike.
Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Appreciate it.
All right. Hey, we are not liable for anything that comes out of Mike's mouth. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there right now. So as we get into it, fellas, what is family? How do you define family?
We looking at this from the traditional sense in terms of like the in your house family. Is that what we're saying? Like, or are we talking about family in general? Because we've already talked about, family is not just a family that you're born into, but the family that you choose or the people you choose to be your family. So just a quick update, the three of us met in college, whereas Mike was my homeboy, even though we didn't like really kick it at home because he was, younger than I was. But when he finally, matriculated down to Smith,
What school did he go to again?
JCSU.
That's right. Yes.
Golden Bulls.
All right.
We have 3 Golden Bulls represented on the panel.
And then the superior Aggie Pride.
We the true blue.
Wait a minute.
And go.
Wait a
We
minute.
the true
Wait a
blue,
minute.
baby.
Wait a minute. Wait. Okay. All right. HBCUs in there.
That's right.
We'll just go there.
That's right.
But anyway, so Mike is my homeboy. So even though we had a relationship, him and I have a separate relationship, but I missed, and I'm going to say I because I'm the mediator between him and them. So I missed these because I knew we would all vibe once we got together. And it basically started primarily with track, I would say.
Yes.
Because Mark, as probably mentioned before, pulled me into the track life, with him and Shannon already had a space in. And then Mike and I let our daughters run, and we were sort of disgusted with the situation we found ourselves in. And
Very.
I specifically remember having a conversation. We can't complain about it. We got to do something about it.
That sticks with me to today.
So if we was gonna complain, we can't just be one of those parents that just complain. What you gonna do about it? And that reminds me of old Joe Madison question.
That's right.
But anyway, so that's how the fusion began between pulling him into this family that I already had established. Him and I had our own thing that we were already doing, because not only were we homeboys, we became roommates after college. And him and I lived together for quite a few years, and we both parented his oldest daughter. So we called ourselves 2 men and a baby.
Before the TV show came out.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's a whole nother scenario that we'll talk about a little bit later, how we managed that process and then how we got to the point that we are now. So just a quick overview as to how Mike, the guest uncle, ties into the whole Hey Unc podcast family.
So it really grew. Our group grew organically.
Oh, no doubt.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I remember the first time meeting Mike, and we were at the track, and it was like I knew him from years ago. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a, hey, who the hell is this dude situation.
Right.
We all kind of just fell in. And the first thing that came out of his mouth, I think he was calling somebody an MFer. I was like, well, he fits in. Okay.
So we'll let Mike give his own spiel, but as an overview and a quick intro, I just wanted to make sure that we brought you guys up to speed as to how he fits into this space that we're in. So he's definitely one of our brothers, no doubt, but he has his own unique perspective. So we're going to let Mike introduce himself.
Yeah.
I'm Uncle Mike.
Oh, and you have to. I'm sorry. You have to explain what kind of uncle you are, and that
In the
means,
group.
Because Shannon, we already know Shannon is the fun uncle.
Right.
Mark is Uncle Philosopher. I was the enforcer because I was all about them relationships when they was trying to bring them dudes around. So, what type of uncle is Uncle Mike?
Uncle Mike is the unfiltered one.
Unfiltered. Right, pretty accurate. That is so accurate.
Very accurate.
So came into the group. Stu asked, he said, hey, let's run track. Track? I don't know nothing about that. He said, me neither. It's for the kids. So we joined the club we joined, and it was a train wreck. Then the next year, we formed our own little group, branch off from the Winston crew, and then at that point, it was like, okay, whole bunch of YouTubing and researching track practices. How am I going to coach my own kids? So I had to reach out. Man, I don't know how to coach my own kids. I play basketball, so track, nah. If it ain't conditioning for basketball, I ain't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
So then it just morphed into my kids already called Stu, Uncle Stu. Then it was Uncle Mark when we all merged with track. Then we met Shannon. Seen Shannon and them on Sunday. It was Saturday, track meets. Uncle Shannon. And my kids, that's all. You couldn't tell them those are not their uncles.
And what's funny about that, when we decided to become a part of that organization out of Winston, how many kids y'all got? Well, we working on that, but we got about 8 kids. 8? How y'all got so many? Well, heck, between the ball, between all of us,
Right.
they ours. They belong to us.
Right.
So, yeah, we were able to get started, and it was amazing. It was an amazing journey. So.
Yeah. And you know what? I love the fact that you pointed out that none of us know what we were doing. Right? And I think as you look at parenthood, fatherhood, bringing up a family, nobody teaches you how to do those things. Right? You can see examples from your biological family and coming up and, other families that you're close to as you're coming up. But there is no class on how to be a father. There's no class of how to interact with even other people's kids. So as we were going through all this transition, Mark, how did you approach dealing with all those different personalities? Because it's not all the kids are different. They're different people, right?
And for me, having a blended family didn't start out that way. My wife had 2, had them since they was 3 and 1, so they was mine. But you grow, and then 2 more came along, and it was a day-to-day process. Just to be honest with you, just like you said, they're all different in their own ways, and you got to learn how to do that. But I can tell you one of the things that I think was most important is creating a foundation for them. That's a key in whatever you do, because you can create a foundation of foolishness and they grow up and be foolish kids, or you can create a foundation, of kids that are teach them how to be great in your own way, and create a path for them. So it's taking it day by day, but it was I should have wrote a book back in the day, because it was nuts dealing with that. So.
Yeah. So what was it like for you, Mike, coming into this group and, having your own, but now you just adopted, 6, 7 more?
Yeah, for me, I looked at you guys, I was like, I hope these fools know what they doing. Because I don't. So we're going to figure it out. I just told my kids, run and listen. They know more than I do because we the last ones to join the crew. So, hey, but outside of that, away from track, it's just for me, when we all come together and to see how my kids, if they all take from me, I have 5, mind you, they all have a little bit of their daddy in them. And the biggest thing is, other than my bookends, which is my oldest and my youngest, 31 and 18, they all kind of like selfish and standoffish a little bit. But when they get with you guys and the families, it's like, I'm like, dang, who are these kids? Because we rode over here the whole time. Ain't nobody say nothing. As soon as we get with the uncles and the cousins, it's like, man, they all mesh. And like you said, Shannon, it was all organic. Wasn't nothing forced. And I'm elated to be with the crew.
What's a timetable we need to put on this, y'all, since we've been together?
So I moved to Charlotte in 2009.
See, it's hard to, if you're going to put a timetable on it, it's really hard because, you know, technically you and Shannon been friends since, but juniors in high school.
Yeah.
And I met Shannon my sophomore year.
Well, I'm just talking
in
particularly
college.
the track thing.
Oh,
What are we
okay.
talking about?
But
We got to go back. I quantified, and I can put it in perspective with Mikey and Bree. They were 3-4 years old. Mackenzie was barely at the age where she could run.
Right.
So
are you talking about for
Mikey-
this collective right
yeah,
here?
for this collective.
the whole track.
Just in the
Yeah,
whole track.
then I guess we would say
15,
we have to
16
say
years?
15 years.
15, yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
So just kind of put it in perspective when we're talking
Yeah,
about
and then what? But you know, to my point, I've been there for the birth of all you guys'
Yeah.
kids,
it. Yep.
and Mike seen all my kids.
Right.
You know, on a whole different side. I mean, I'm not saying you
No,
guys
no.
have,
I get it.
but
yeah,
you know,
you're right.
but that was before we all came
That's right.
together because we were actually roommates
Yeah.
when Tia came onto the scene. Actually, but we had been kicking it even before he had his first one. Because he used to steal my car at Smith. I wouldn't say steal, but he borrowed. Because I mean, I did give him the keys. Like, I got to go back to that. That I got to touch on a little bit because I was big bro. I've always been big bro because I'm older.
Yeah.
But Mike will slide over. You know, I'm still barely knowing Mike because we ain't really fool. 'Cause, I mean, again, it's just an age gap. Mike and I didn't fool around at home until we got to Smith.
And that's that Asheville connection, right?
Then it was the Asheville connection. You know, that's my homeboy.
Yeah.
But then it got to the point where, you know, I don't be letting people drive my car. But look, bro was he's a cool little dude. So, you know, he's like, hey, let me borrow the wheels. I ain't gonna tell you where he was going. Cause that would incriminate both of us.
Oh my God.
But he would get the car, and once he brought it back intact, I couldn't trip.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I
it was
appreciate
one of
Bro,
those
hold
kind
up.
of things.
I'd have known you for 30-something years. I can count on one hand how many times I drove your car. Any of your cars.
Well, I mean, but you have your own cars.
That's true.
You know, I was gonna go there, Stuart, but I'm in Shannon, but I'm not gonna go there because you know the multiple times he had my car. I drove his car quite a bit. In college.
Exactly. What are you talking about?
My bad. I did.
He was about to tell a lie.
We
saw
ready.
that coming.
I was ready. But yeah, it's grown. But as adults, man, because you know, you was so in and out in school, and then when we was like together on I'm gonna say a full-time basis because we was in the same city together. What was the purpose? It wasn't like we was kids and somebody didn't have a car or
A
transportation.
man needed to creep somewhere.
Nigga. You think I'm gonna participate in that right now? Never.
That's funny.
You don't know me.
Okay. I know who do know you, and she laughing right there too. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to get smacked in the head for that one.
About to get us both
Right.
right. Up. Talking about you creeping. At that point, yeah, no, we had too much hardware.
For sure. So, you know, as we talk about this, I think there was one other point that Mike really made. And I wanted to get you guys' opinion as fathers, especially at that point, because we were all still relatively young fathers. How did you play those multiple roles in your kid's life? You got to be dad. Sometimes you got to be, best friend. Sometimes you got to be coach. Sometimes you got to be the disciplinarian. How did you balance those multiple roles?
I'll start with that one. It was. I thought it would be easy until, and it's a blessing and a curse to be the coach of your child, because when your child is FOS, and understanding that about your child, you push them harder because you see when they're giving you that half-ass effort, and it's like, I know it's more in you than you giving me right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that we can tap into that, they don't like it because they think they're masking it, but they're really not, because we know better. Right. And then after a while, it becomes frustrating as a parent coach because you want it more for the child than they want it for themselves.
Yeah.
For me, my three that ran track, I got them in three different characters. I have a Allen Iverson practice. That was Maya.
I got one of those too, buddy.
But on the track meet day, she gonna show out. Then I had one that was the fear of his dad, and he was a perfectionist, and he trained hard to be the best. He kind of saw a model that he liked, which was Miles.
Miles KB.
Yep. And Miles was a year, 2 years older than him, Marquise that is, and he strived to beat Miles. If I beat Miles, then I'm in first place.
Okay.
So that was his goal. So that was I call him my Michael Jordan, because he trained, practiced hard. And then I got Deion Sanders, Mr. Flashy. Some days he come to practice and he practiced hard. Other days he give me a poop butt effort. But on track meet day, he got his headband on and his fly shoes, and he was good. That's Mikey, the youngest one. So for me, it was just balancing the whole thing. Coaching my kids was tough, but I'm just going to rewind it. I missed horribly when they was growing up. I was raised on, this is what you do. You do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
In the household. And iron fist. But when you got 5 kids, 5 different personalities, you got to parent them all different. I learned that within the last 5 years.
Right. Later. Yeah.
So my kids, I guess nowadays, I look back and I say, dang, I really was a tyrant in my household. Granted, I was there, present. I was physically in the household, but I didn't know how to connect with my kids that way. And then when we all got together with you guys, I see great dads, and I was like, dang, how am I going to get that relationship with my kids? And I have it now, which I'm grateful for, but looking back, I was wrong. And I told all my kids personally, one-on-one, I apologize.
Yeah.
That's big.
So I learned a lot from you guys as far as fatherhood goes.
Yeah. But the fact that you had the courage to go back and apologize to them, that's huge.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that went a long way into establishing what the new relationship is going to be. And you hear this stuff all the time. People that talk about being a man, you can't be wrong and you shouldn't admit you're wrong. And that's bullshit.
That's right.
Right? If you have the courage to learn, to grow, and then make amends and admit when you're wrong, that's now showing your kids by example, right? It's not just lip service. Because none of us know how to do this stuff. We're making it up as we go, and we're doing the best we can. And that's in life, right? You always have to give yourself room to learn and to grow and to do things differently as you have different experiences.
So when you talk about that balance that you were asking about, for me, it was learning from you guys. I had to learn, like Mike said, I was that tyrant, and on the track, I would kick my daughter off the track if she wasn't doing right, because you got to set an example, and she was not feeling that, but she could be great. But what I had to learn is to say, you need to go practice with Coach Stewart, Uncle Stewart. You need to go practice with Uncle, find ways to, and I learned that was a way to kind of, keep it to the point where I'm still her dad and so forth, because I felt like when she was angry with me, we get in the car, I'm going to turn it over. I'm completely different, but she's still thinking about what just happened on the track, which is understandable for a child, you know. So,
Yeah.
you know, that was one of the things I was able to balance at some point, but it took time, like Mike said, to get there.
Yeah. And I know I got to a point with my daughter, Naya. Me and Naya are very much alike. We are both very stubborn. We're bullheaded personalities. So I got to a point where I had to make a decision. You know what? I can either be her dad or I can be her coach. I can't be both. Because I wasn't being effective in either one. For the very thing you just said, all that stuff will start bleeding over into our personal relationship, and it was pushing her to be great as a coach was getting in the way of me being her dad and being effective at being her dad. So yeah, I had to make that decision. Nope, I need to find you a new coach because I can't do both.
Yeah, because I know I started bringing, and I'm sure most of us did, start bringing practice home.
Yeah.
Like if we didn't have practice on a specific day, oh, you're gonna do some push-ups and sit-ups, and you know I'm gonna sit right here and watch you do them. So I had like circuits going on in the house, push-up station, sit-up station, you know, high knee station. You're doing something for this hour that we're missing. Or if we didn't go to, you know, if God forbid, if it rained and we didn't have practice, then, you know, obviously that sort of makes more sense. But just the day is off and the day before a meet, oh, you're gonna get this work in here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can't, everybody else not doing it. I don't care. You my child. I know what you need to be doing. You know, so it got to that point, and then that's when I knew I'm doing too much.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I got to lead this to somebody else. And then actually a blessing and a curse at the same time was when COVID hit. Because I was still trying to do it low-key, even though they was transitioning to middle school, high school track at the time. But the blessing was I wasn't their coach anymore, but it killed their drive for track at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know I used to always try and tell, especially younger parents that were getting into any sport, right? Your kid is not going to win a scholarship at 7 years old.
No.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to the Olympics at 10, right? It's not going to happen. Get them, let them have fun, let them fall in love with the sport, whatever the sport is. Then if they are serious about it as they get older and those workouts get hard and they start getting tedious and all that, they have the love for the sport to fall back on, right? If you don't have that, then what is it? Are they just doing it out of fear? Are they doing it just to try and please you, right? You have to instill that love in whatever it is. I don't care if it's writing. I don't care if it's reading, if it's sports, if it's playing an instrument. You have to let your kid fall in love with it, or what is the point?
And I think one of the, listening to what all we were saying, I think the blessing of it too was, you know, our kids enjoyed the sport. So we were investing in them, you know, and, you know, that's big. Make sure whatever it is, if you got to invest in that kid, because that's going to take them a long way.
I'll go so far as to say this too. I'm gonna make this a two-part thing. One is track forced us to be a better family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't take the trips that we take,
No, good point.
you know, without track. You know what I'm saying? As a unit, and then that's obviously what grew this family, even more so. And then it gets to the point where you're not only parenting your kids. You're parenting all the kids at some point or another. Because some kids may, and again, since we have a unique dynamic, like my family grew up knowing Mike's kids more so because they were together from day one, like you guys were. Right. I found myself parenting his kids a lot more than I would you guys' kids. Right. But nonetheless, I don't know what they're dealing with until they come to me with that problem.
Right.
And you got to be as objective as you possibly can. But my kids will probably more so go to anybody because because they have grown up with all you guys. Yeah. So they may ask Uncle Mike or Uncle Shannon, and I know they ask Uncle Mark, something that they may not agree with that I've said or done. But I, like Mike, have had to become a little bit more agile because I was inflexible in the first few years of their lives because I saw parenting a certain way and I didn't feel like I needed to be questioned because I couldn't question my parents.
Right.
It was
Right.
because I said so.
That's right.
And that was final. That's it. That's all.
If you wanted to keep your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
yeah.
For sure. For sure. And I, smiling was important.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
With something, right there to kind of guard your tongue. But
I still remember the beige belt, buddy. If I said something out of line,
No, it was
that
black.
thick. Mine
It
was
was
thick
black.
beige.
it was black.
Mine was whatever she could get to, and I was right. If you take another step, the one day there was an iron, the next day there was the straightening comb that she had for her. I was like, okay, I'm stopping.
And this is the sad part. You hear what we saying though. Like I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, my mama, she whooped me with a belt.
Oh yeah, I got beat down still.
Like, mama, you did that to me.
That's right.
Abuse your son. You did that. Because my pop was cool. My pop was laid back, but he raised up when he needed to. But my mom did most of the discipling.
Yeah.
So in that vein, yeah, mom whooped my butt for real. So I had to grow up. We talked to pops. Pops be like, "Yo, we gotta tell your mama stuff." I'm like, no, we don't.
Right.
Pops like, okay.
But that set the boundary for your whole relationship too.
Yeah, it does. Because
Yeah.
even to this day, man, my dad is my dude, man. My dad is straight up my dude. I know we'll get into that and later on down the line, but that's my dude.
Yeah. So I know the one thing I loved about and the importance of building our tribe. It wasn't just for us to support each other. I love the fact that the kids are still so tight, right? I remember when Naya was still in high school, and I was talking to her one day, and I think she ran into Mackenzie somewhere, your middle child. And I said, oh, yeah, I ain't seen Kenzie in a minute. And have you talked to her? She's like, what are you talking about, Dad? We talk all the time. Really? Yeah. What are you talking about? I didn't even know all of them were still that tight. And to see it now as they're transitioning into being adults and they still travel together, they still support each other, it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mikey just came from Winston-Salem State, where the girls go. He just went up for a party.
Last night.
Crashed in Mackenzie's spot.
See?
Got
And
on
it
the-
continues.
Got on the road this morning, came on back. So yeah, to your point, man, they still commingling, and we don't have to manage that. That was just an organic thing.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't need to. And then they all support each other professionally. So everybody barters with everybody else in terms of trying to get things done. So it's still a beautiful thing.
Yeah. All right, so now it's time. This time in the program, it's time for Stu's question of the week. All right, Stu, hit us.
Ooh. So I'm gonna try to stay in the spirit of the conversation, but step out a little bit because this is a family based question. So, what is the best advice that your mother ever gave you?
Ooh, okay. Specifically, Mom.
Specifically.
For me, don't take nothing from nobody.
I can see Gilda saying that.
Yes.
So elaborate.
Go, specifically when I got ready to go to college. She said, son, go do the best, be the best you can be, but, understand that this world is something, and this is when you get ready to learn how to deal with people, how to deal with things without me being around, questioning. Don't take nothing from nobody, and, always know your surroundings. and be aware of your surroundings. So something small, but I value it every day.
Me growing up, my mom's relationship, I know she loved me, but she was only one way. She grew up from her mom, so that's how she raised us. So growing up, she didn't really tell me anything. So now, as I'm older, and we talk for hours on end, whenever we do talk, the one thing, the best piece of advice that she gave me was around my kids. You can't be so hard on them to the fact that you don't love them, because you'll push them away.
Push them away.
Yep. So that's the best piece. So now that this last 5 years with my kids, I took that piece of advice and I put it to work by having a long stare in the mirror with myself and cut the corner.
Makes sense. I think for me, because I left home at 17, right, to go into the military. I remember a conversation we had because my mom ended up having to sign the paper so I can go because I was still 17 when I enlisted. And when I made that decision and she supported it, she said, don't forget who you belong to, right? And that has always stuck with me, that I know I have a support system at home. I know I have people that I can rely on, but I also know when I'm out here in the world, I'm representing them. And I have to be very conscious of how I represent our family, especially because our family is very well known in our hometown. I've always been conscious of my actions and what that means for the whole family. What about you, Stu?
My mom talked to me all the time coming up. If she forgets something, she'll call me and say, son, I don't think I ever told you this. So I'm just going to take one of the many things that she shared with me, and I think it served me well at the time. It's not something that I need to use now, obviously, once I tell you guys what it is. And this is for a young, budding person. I specifically remember she said, son, keep your own place. Keep your own place. And what she was telling me, at least at the time, what she was meaning was, if you have your own place, you can't get kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have to worry about being kicked out, you don't have to make decisions based on your locality. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to apply this to a relationship. So if I'm in a relationship and I choose to spend my time with the person of interest, and let's just say it's not going well, and I'm at their place and they decide that this is not working out,
mm-hmm.
I don't have any trepidations about, well, what am I going to do?
Right.
I just leave and go back to my spot.
Right.
And everything is fine. I'm not putting that person in a difficult situation. They're not putting me in a difficult situation. I'm not worried about how am I going to pay my bills, because I've been sharing these bills for the last, and it didn't have to be a intimate relationship. It can be any relationship for that matter.
Right.
Just have your own place.
Yeah.
I like that, and it makes sense because, if you were stuck and you needed to be there,
Right.
then you can keep yourself in a bad situation
For longer than you need
for
to.
longer than you need to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
My uncle taught me that, and I know what you're saying about that.
Yeah, my dad, he drove it home to us. Always have a place that your kids can say is home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for me, it took a while, but I got it now.
Yeah. Well, I had to get on Naya about that one day after she got her apartment in Greensboro, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was down here with us for a weekend, and she was about to leave. And she said, okay, y'all, I'm leaving. I'm going home. No, the hell you ain't. You going back to your apartment.
Right.
This is your home.
Right.
And don't get it twisted. That means something. Having that home means something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, shifting gears a little bit, but in order for us or anybody else to be that parent, to be that father, whatever, you got to be here.
That's right.
To be able to do that. And one of the things I think we still struggle with in our community, and especially with men, is around protecting our health. And I'm talking mental health, physical health, whatever it is. And Mike, I know you've gone through some specific challenges over the last few years. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of speak on, the importance of taking care of yourself, or kind of what have you learned through your experience that you can share with others?
Well, I am, as of March the 5th of 2024, an amputee. This is the end of a very long journey that's affected both sides of my body, both legs. So 2004 to 2009, I had a job, health insurance. Everything is great. I'm a type 2 diabetic. Had insurance, going to the doctor regularly, lost my job in January, actually on my 5-year anniversary. Lost my job. There goes my health insurance. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll just watch what I eat, cut back on, drinking or whatever, and thinking I can just self-maintain. But then I said, I'm going to start getting in shape. So I started jogging. The shoes that I wore rubbed sores on my big toes. Went to the doctor. He sent me to a podiatrist. He took an x-ray, saw that I had an infection in the tip of the bone on my left foot, the big toe, the size of a ballpoint pen. Gave me 10 days of antibiotics and never saw that podiatrist again. Lo and behold, a couple years later, no health insurance, no medication. My diabetes went out of control. My big toe swelled up. Well, first, it was September 2013. I'm driving around working. It's 80 degrees outside. Had the AC on, went from AC having the heat on at 3:15 in the afternoon, and it's 80 degrees outside. Wow. So I'm thinking I caught just a 24-hour bug. Went home, lukewarm bath to break the fever, all that. So later on, that was on a Friday. My person then told me, we going to the emergency room. No, I'm good. I'll wait until Monday. If it ain't no better by Monday, then we'll go. Sunday morning, and I felt great. Fever broke. Took my dogs outside. Came back in. My big dog just kept trying to get at my left foot. I'm like, dude, go away. So I going to get back in the bed, pull the covers back. There was blood on the bed. Like, where'd that come from? Look at my toe, my foot. My big toe is swollen up like a sausage, and it split open across the top, like it does if you boil it in water. Now, mind you, I have neuropathy, complete neuropathy in my feet, so I don't feel any pain. I feel pressure, but I don't feel any pain. So I didn't know. But then I had this smell of death that I'll never forget. That's how, if anything I know I got infection, I'll smell it. So my dog, in hindsight, was trying to tell me something's not right with your foot when he kept trying to get at it. And I didn't pay attention to the signs.
Yeah.
So fast forward, I wound up having to have my big toe cut off because that infection that I thought was taken care of 6, 7, 8 years prior was just it ate away the bone in my big toe. So it was like a sponge. So they had to amputate because I had gotten gangrene gas in it. Mm-hmm. So took off the big toe, 2013. 2015, I got a callus on the bottom of that same foot because the weight distribution is off. Had a surgery to remove basically the knuckles in the ball of your foot. Moved it, then the callus moved over to the other side. They got infected. So 2 years after that, 2017, had the same surgery. So then 2019, infection again in it. So I had the other 4 toes cut off on my birthday, 2019. So ever since then, the left foot's fine. Then lo and behold, in the week after Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and the first week of Christmas, of 2021. 2021? No, 2022. Got an infection out of nowhere on the right foot. So January of 2023, I elected to have the toes cut off. Just take all 5 of them because I didn't want to go through what I went through on the left side.
Yeah.
Got it done the whole year. The aftercare was piss poor. And the foot got infected again. When I left the hospital, all infection was completely gone out of my foot. Left, the aftercare was piss poor. Infection got in there. I was given an authorization to start a second job wearing steel-toe boots. The foot, the sore wasn't even, the wound wasn't even all the way healed on the bottom of that foot. Went in and it exploded. Then it never got better. So then led to my amputation of this year. But life is great after that. Mm-hmm. I've adapted to mobility and life is the same.
Okay.
So what would you say, or based on all that you explained, what's the advice that you would give someone who's not being responsible and taking care of themselves, even understanding that they have, in your case, this particular
looking back
disease.
on it, it's the old thing, black men or men in general don't go to the doctor. Mm-hmm. So I was going to the doctor, but I stopped going when I lost a piece of insurance. I couldn't pay out of pocket. Mm-hmm. So for me, lesson learned is always have something. You got to have insurance. That way you can go. And don't be afraid or think that you're weak by going to the doctor. Because if you don't know, and you find out 9 times out of 10, it's too late.
Yeah.
So.
And learning your body is important too.
Listening.
Yeah. Listening to your body,
Yep.
no matter what.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we don't do enough, and just in conversations that we've had, I know you had to start doing, was advocating for yourself.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because there are a lot of doctors out there that do great work and they take personal care, they get to know you and all that. But there's a lot that don't. And, they'll have you questioning yourself and, not really listening to you and understanding what's going on with you. So you have to advocate for yourself and don't just take anybody's word as gospel.
Yeah. Piggybacking off of that. The times I was in the hospital, my diabetes was well under control. My average numbers averaging like 110 in the morning at the highest. Got in the hospital, my morning blood sugar numbers was like 300.
Wow.
Then lunchtime, 375. So I went in and they put me on a consistent carb diet, fries and potatoes with everything. But outside the hospital, they tell us as diabetics, stay away from fries, pasta, things that turn into bread.
Yeah.
But so the hospitals here have this, that they spend all these millions of dollars on this program. It's like a Novolog program where they punch in, I guess, my body type, weight, all that stuff, and it gives them a number as far as the insulin to give me. So outside, I was taking 30 units of insulin a night. They was only giving me one unit. So I was like, that's not doing anything for me.
Yeah.
I'm here because I lost a toe. I left my toe downstairs. So, but y'all keeping me here, talking about my diabetes, trying to get it down.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah. You left your toe downstairs.
Yeah, I left my toe downstairs.
You just can't gloss over that, bro.
Hey, man, I did.
So you just like walking up the steps. She was like, "Oh,
Nah,
they go my toe."
no, they cut it off.
Oh, okay. On the lower floor.
Yeah, downstairs.
It's always humor in everything.
I mean, I needed to understand it. He said I left my toe downstairs. I needed to be clear.
That's why I was there. I left my toe downstairs. So now you're keeping me here 2-3 extra days because my blood sugar numbers are high. But
when you've taken me off my routine that I normally do.
So the doctor, she kept saying no, no, no. So I had to say to myself, that's it. I told the nurse, I said, I'm not taking that shit. Get the doctor in here right now. And, she finally came, and I told her, I said, I'm not taking any more of your medicine because I'll never leave. I'll leave, but I'll be dead.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm taking. From now on, either you're going to prescribe it here and y'all get paid for it, or I just have my people bring it from the house, and I'm going to take it that way.
Yeah.
So she changed my medication, and overnight, I was back to normal, and I was out of it the next day.
Wow.
So you have to advocate for. Don't be afraid. The doctors don't know everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've learned what triggers makes my numbers go up, what keeps them level. So I've learned that over the years. So it's just you just have to listen to your body.
And a lot of these things that are the average, the normal measurement, don't apply to us, right? Because those measurements are not based off of us.
Right.
So, and I don't care what it is, whether you're talking about BMI, blood sugar, all of that stuff is not based solely on our body type. So you have to know yourself. Yeah.
Because they not like us.
They not like us. All right. So now it's time for our segment of Philosophizing with Mark. So what you got for us, man?
So, in the spirit of staying where we're at, everybody that's kind of been listening to us today, I just want you to realize a couple of things. We literally came from boys to men. We still learning on this journey, and we're not perfect. And I think that's important to realize as you create a family and you're on that journey with your kids, you are not going to be perfect. I like to use the example of a tree being put in the ground, baby tree. When you put that tree in the ground, you can adjust that tree gonna grow. You can adjust the tree.
You adjust a tree, bro.
You can listen
With the strap.
with the straps. See, you
can
adjust
change
the
way
tree.
the tree grow.
Oh my God. Okay, baby.
Bro,
boys.
you got to get deep
You gotta
into the
get in-
analogy,
yeah,
Mark. You
listen.
got to go deep.
Just listen.
Bro, I am. But
You want me to make it simple?
This Reagan said,
All right, let's make it simple.
adjust a tree.
Adjust when you planting the
when it's
tree.
young.
I didn't
gotta
see the
adjust.
straps. Now I'm with you.
Now you
Okay.
with
I
us.
feel you. I was confused. It's like,
Welcome to the conversation. All right, my apologies.
They not deep,
They
Mark.
not. They not.
No.
They not like us. Are they? All right.
no, we from Asheville. We don't
we
adjust
see
trees.
that
We
now.
just let them grow.
Plant and watch it grow.
That's right. Okay. So dang, I don't lost no. But you put the tree in the ground, okay, with the straps as you adjust it. That tree is gonna do whatever you want it to do. Right?
Okay.
But as that tree begins to get a little mature, gets older, the tree gonna do what it want to do, right? So we as fathers, we need to take that analogy when we with our kids. They're younger, we pretty much create that foundation. But understand as they get older, you got things that are gonna influence them. The internet, their peer, their groups that they create, but it starts with us. So that's kind of where I was trying to go.
Y'all see how my boy landed that plane? Brought it back to the
He
kids.
did
He
pretty
landed
good.
that
He
plane.
did pretty good. I gotta
That's
give
what I'm
him
talking
that.
about.
They're idiots, y'all. I love them, but they're idiots. So, yeah.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
They're an idiot. But anyway. So, yeah.
All right. Well, that'll bring us to the end of this episode. We appreciate you all being with us. Don't forget, you can always reach out on our social media platforms if you have a question, if you want to answer the question of the week. We'd love to get your feedback and opinions and future topics, things of that nature. So feel free to contact us. Mike, appreciate you being here.
Appreciate the invite.
Appreciate you being open and candid with the people too, and hopefully it'll reach somebody and they'll have a better outcome because of your words.
That's right. You okay over there?
Oh, yeah,
Mike.
yeah.
You got your arms all folded and something.
Yeah.
You got something you want to say?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm straight.
Hey,
Yeah,
one more
why
thing.
y'all-
One more thing.
you,
You know what?
Mark.
Though? I would
Oh,
like to
okay.
add this real quick. In your times of dealing with the things that you were dealing with, how did your community respond to you in terms of your adopted family?
Oh man, they showed up, as they say, showed up and showed out. You know, it put it out there when my surgery was happening. My big sis Keish, she morphed into, okay, let me start doing what I do, pulling people in. Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? I had meals dropped off. I had rides for doctor's appointments, just regular random drop-ins.
Except your homeboy forgot you. My bad.
Yeah, he did.
That's what he did.
I was gonna let you breathe. But
Nah, I have to own that. I have to own that. I remember. I forgot.
Own it up to your
That's right. I own that.
But my tribe, everybody, they really stepped up. My kids showed up for me in ways that I didn't think that they did. That they would. I knew that they loved me, but the repairing of the relationships really made them feel comfortable without hesitation to be there for their dad.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So I have a great crew. Y'all are great. I love all
Appreciate you,
y'all.
brother. Love you too.
You too, bro.
Love you too.
We can't. We wouldn't be us without Mad Mike.
That's right.
That's what we call him, Mad Mike.
All right. So until next time, peace.
Peace.